Okay, so who'd have thought that it would be this long until the next review? I think it's been just over a year now, pretty much, but we're now deep in crisis time with coronavirus all around us, and we're all deep in lockdown, so I figured it's probably time that we do one of these reviews again, and today I really want to talk about Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It's a French film brought to us by Céline Sciamma, and went in having heard a lot before about this film, hearing lots of positive things. A lot of groups and organisations that I'm a part of, they were saying that it should have got Picture of the Year, the Oscars and all that. So I went in with really, really high hopes, and I have to say, it really didn't disappoint. So Portrait of a Lady on Fire is a French language film directed by Céline Sciamma, and it's starring Noemie Merlant and Adele Haenel. Please forgive me if I butcher those names at all. French is not my first language, but what will come will make up for that, hopefully. So yes, French language film, and for 2 hours, it allows you the opportunity to just escape into this beautiful world that the director has created. It's only her fourth feature film, I have to point out as well. She's only done a couple of projects before this, but what this film really is a passion project of hers that has turned into a cinematic masterpiece. So you're transported to France in 1770, and a female artist, Marianne, played by Merlant, sails to a remote location because she's committed to do this painting, a wedding painting of a young woman called Heloise, who's a young woman from wealthy upbringing, and she's just left the convent. Little does she know that Marianne has actually been sent to paint her wedding portrait. She's been reluctant to pose for any other artists that have been sent her way because she doesn't feel like they capture who she really is deep down inside, what her personality is, and the way that she sees herself. She doesn't feel like any of these previous painters have captured that image that she likes. So she's been refusing to pose for any of them. But then Marianne turns up, and that is all about to change. Heloise then announces that she's actually willing to pose for Marianne to make it easier, and ever since that point, their connection grows stronger, the bond between them, their affection for one another, begins to drive lustfully deep. So Portrait of a Lady on Fire, it encapsulates these philosophical themes, Greek mythology, the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, and there's this endless bounty of beauty to behold within every element of the film. The power of the female gaze is never to be underestimated, and when it's harnessed as mightily as Céline Sciamma has in this display of cinematic artistry, in which she uses the camera, dialogue, and the talents of the actresses to manifest a burning yielding between the two, like an unspoken and unbreakable bond. The power of the female gaze has never been stronger. A warm sense of escapism from within the large, relatively vacant rooms of this enormous manor house in which Marianne is sent. It washes over a filtered lens into the world with an indelible and timeless purity. There's this sort of romantic dance between lingering eyes and the female gaze, and this instability of some very fierce personalities colliding with each other and resulting in a sort of an overflowing concoction of just perfect cinema. And when the director's applying this sort of methodical approach, when it comes to telling the story and building patience, and tension as well bilaterally with each other, it really makes for some fantastic viewing. It is the performances of the two female leads, Merlant and Haenel, that of course carry the picture through to fruition with their electric portrayals of their character. I think chemistry is everything in a film of this kind of genre, and these two women give a performance of a lifetime, and they've got an incredible commitment to their cause. The director is in no hurry to increase the rhythm of the film, placing a lot more emphasis on the importance that each scene featuring the two leading ladies possesses. It develops their journey and relationship into sexual exploration in tandem with each other, making the audience feel a building uncertainty and insecurity between them and the leading ladies also. One thing that particularly stands out for me is the way that Merlant mastered the artist's stare. She'd be standing there painting, but her eyes would be flitting back and forth between Heloise and the canvas, and it's really enticing seeing that, I think. It built up the seductiveness between the two, built the tension between the two, and it slowly broke down the barriers, the mental barriers and the physical barriers between the two characters. One other aspect of this film that's really interesting to look at is actually the art itself. Art comes in many forms, and there's just it's not just the lead and brush approach and this is art, there you go. When Marianne expands Heloise's knowledge of the world before our own eyes with Vivaldi's Four Seasons on the harpsichord, something that a recurring theme that keeps coming back as well and plays a really symbolic poignance at the end. But even down to the more simple elegance and virtuosity of just making love between the two women. There's an untouchable poetry in the embrace between pencil and paper, but also fingers on skin and touch. It just sweeps you away in this whirlwind of imagery and quite eloquent finesse when, creating a film like this. Creates an abundance of romanticism and desirable creativity. I mean, to go further on this, the paintings themselves were made by artist Hélène Delmer, who painted for 16 hours every day, I think I read, during the course of filming. And she based her painting on the blocking of the scenes. I think even her hands were used at some point when Marianne was painting or drawing, because she was drawing them at the time. So her artist hands are actually in the film as well, which is quite a nice little touch. So the film, it's filled with lots of secret messages and tokens for appreciation. It's a cataclysmic yet desperately reserved plea for love and a prayer for support in womanhood, I think. It's a very female production, plays a lot on the feminist values, but also just looks after the female leads, if you understand what I'm saying. It's been written and crafted by someone who really understands what they're talking about. And I'm not someone who often presents a gushing review of a film. I'd like to think I don't, but sometimes there are films that just simply deserve all the praise in the world, really. And once again, it's a foreign language film. It's another foreign language film. We've had Parasite that dominated at the Oscars and all of the awards. And this is another one now. This is another foreign language film that's starting to dominate the industry, raising further demand for Western society to finally clear that 6-inch barrier that has been in the way, which is the 6-inch hurdle that is subtitles, should I say. If you clear that hurdle, your experience of the world of cinema is broadened exponentially. Like in this case, Portrait of a Lady on Fire is it's a masterpiece. Lavish praise is the least that it deserves. It just needs people to go and see it. So all in all, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. For Marianne and Heloise, the moment of their connection and their love might be fleeting, but the memory of this film is going to last a long time with the audience that engages with this film. So I urge you to go and watch it, and I'm going to give it an 8.4 out of 10.